Hello everybody. This was a bit of a random happy accident, I'm hoping. I found myself with 25 minutes, no time to do any other sort of streams, and I thought it's time to check in with you guys because YouTube has been something that I feel like I'm not letting it slip, but naturally other things are just gravitating. So I'm here at Gully HQ with a bit of a sweat on because I've been trying to take an Instagram photo for the Instagram for Gully of me running up there and trying to capture it on a 10-second timer. It backfired, but I'm still going to use it because otherwise it was just wasted climbing. No, how's everyone doing? I feel like I've been putting out so much query and wonder to lots of people and wondering how they're doing in this space of what's been going on, specifically TikTok, specifically the website, and a lot of our own things of what's been going on. So I know that one of the last things that I spoke to you guys about was kind of in a multitude of things. It was like talking about the courses and the ebook and all the learning side of things, but also about this kind of like new balancing act I've got with the way that I produce content and the way that I distribute myself through the internet. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Tilt, and own website are and also this Vinted challenge are five of the current sort of streams of social connection that I'm currently having to sort of like balance as one person. And I do love it. I absolutely adore it. And I'm not coming here to tell you how I am with all them sort of things. I wanted to just sort of let you know that that's kind of like something that's been going on at the minute, something that's like a continual thing that we're kind of balancing. But I felt like I wanted to just check in and kind of like talk on something that I think I'm in the process of now, without jinxing anything, without putting any pressure on anything, but manifestation of like the things you see for what you want to do are actually so key and so powerful, further than what you realize. So a lot of where I see myself in this current moment has been through like a real reaffirmation of like these continual internal vibrations of manifestation. So without being too meditative and wordy-gurdy, I've been planting my own internal seed about all of the things that you see around you right now. As a result, it's coming into its fruition. Now, there's an art to remaining calm in the chaos, and that's something that I'm trying to do at the moment. Is I'm trying to remain still while everything moves at a rush hour speed around me. I find myself in a moment now, when you actually stop and you realize that everything is still anyway. And it's really just the mind that's busy. So for me, these moments of sitting down and having a moment to calibrate myself like this are actually quite good to slow down the internal state. But I wanted to just go back on manifestation because I think there's some value in it for you guys. And that's why I wanted to come here, most importantly, because I think I've got value to give on this. So whatever we do, sorry, I'm just currently quite warm. You can probably tell, but the way that capturing content, it's just right here, right now. But I wanted to go back on this manifestation and the value I think that it can ensue for any of you that watch this or find interest in this is I found myself in a situation where it was either fight or flight very much over the course of a few months in terms of the business of and I remember getting this question posed to me genuinely. You can either walk away from everything now, I can walk out this building, I can leave everything that's behind me, or I can remain, savor, secure, and figure out the next step. And me being here still is showing you that the next step that I took was that. So for anybody who's like stumbling on this content newly or whatever at this point, my name's Spencer Lyon, and I started the brand Gully Garms in 2012. I managed this with a 20 team sort of in-house sort of facility, plus lots of out of work sort of works and things like this, and managed a £1 million a year turning over company through second-hand vintage e-commerce with ASOS Marketplace and my own website, gullygarms.com, which remains. Now, over like 2021, there was a massive growth in what we did, but as a result of the growth also came the downfall, and COVID, Brexit, employment issues, and amalgamation of those, along with just very big shifts in the sort of topical trend that was e-commerce online, I had to make a decision, cutting staff, changing and adapting to where we are. This is going to tie into the manifestation, it's going to tie into the holding on to this, by the way. But that's a framework of who I am and where I've been. So for anybody who's just discovered parts of my content now, for anybody who is learning more about reselling and is stumbling across me in that capacity, or anybody who is seeing any bits of information that connect to that, I wanted to give that like mini micro framework, if you will. Manifestation, the decision that I made, and why this value is useful to you guys that are watching this. So a lot of the point of manifestation is living in a state where you have what you don't have until you have what you have. Remember, you don't actually need anything, and the abundance mindset is to remain in that safe space of your own internal state that goes, whatever I've got right now is enough. I know this might be some of you that are looking at this and going, of course you're going to say that. Look how much you've got around you. But it's predicated off not wanting anything. Now, that sits in a bit of a strange parallel, I guess, with, well, you would have had to have needed something in order to facilitate a unit and to maintain this. Yes. And that comes down to, I guess, like an internal resilience of making something work. If we turn back to the question when it was like Gully Garms is closing, the bills have been sent and all these things have come through, and I got a letter. It was so aggressively a bill that was just, without going into it too much, it was too much than what I could handle at the time, considering that we was losing more money than we was making, and I had to make that decisive decision. But even in that state, I didn't want to walk away from what I'd built from a bedroom because I still believed in what I did. And I spent countless months at home figuring out the process and the motion, but underlyingly manifesting what I am becoming, or what this is becoming in of itself. And the whole point of manifestation and believing like that what you don't see is that if you just do it without believing that it will happen, then it won't actually happen. And that's not what manifestation is. I believe personally that the manifestation of things is to sort of sit with that state of where you want to be, accept in your head, and obviously not into some sort of dazed dream. You aren't in that place, but you have to live and exist in that place. You know, people that want to be happy should live as though they are happy. I know that sounds, and there's a lot of people that will go, well, that's not as simple as that. I know, but it's all about a mindset shift. I'm just one person like you guys as well, by the way. Like, I have my own issues, I have my own things that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, own internal struggles, own realizations of who I am and figuring out who I want to be and all that sort of stuff. So I can relate. But the mindset shift I had allowed and enabled me to calm the storm, realign with the balance that I needed to have for what I was doing. And I guess that's one of the main reasons. Let me just turn that off. That's really throwing me off. Number 101, Spencer. Could you see how quickly my mind shifted then? That's what I want to sort of come to as well. At the moment, things are moving very quick, and that manifestation that comes to its fruition and its reality, when it actually comes and you're faced with it, you have to go, this is what you asked for, this is what you brought to your attention, and balance in the storm again. I know some of you watching this might go, blimey, he is waffling a lot. And I know that sometimes the point that I'm trying to get to feels like it never gets to that point, or feels like sometimes I might try and make a point and then my mind drifts. But that's the realistic nature of somebody who manages and balances so many plates of business and so many different parts. But let's just sit on this manifestation and sit on the value that I think that it's useful for anybody watching this. See, you might be in a position right now where you can't really see the positive outcome of what you're doing, or maybe you want to be more confident with the sustainability aspect of what that might be. You want to make sure that what you're doing, you're going to be able to maintain. You want to know that you're going to be motivated by what you're doing and holding on to all of those sort of like situations. And sitting with yourself and really looking at the whys in what you're doing, it's just going to really help you like build into that. Like, one of the things that was key for me with like the rebirth of Gully and what I did was I had to take accountability for what happened, understand what I could have done better, understand where the mindset was, and realign that purpose through struggles and trials and tribulations of an internal state and an external realization, like living in and existing in, like, you know, me and Marge will probably sit down at some point now that we're in better positions and we're thankful and we're grateful that we're able to be in these better situations. And when I say better, like, I just mean we're not pulling our hair out. The side of Gully and the life at Gully and the sort of existence of everything that we've done as a family business has been tough. And there's been real genuine challenges. Like I say, Marge, Jeannie, my mum, that's her name, Jeannie, by the way. If you want to know why she's called Marge, maybe we can talk about that on a video. But we are mother and son. She's my mum, I'm the son, obviously. And we had some of our own internal challenges that we brought to work and that we was like figuring out. You know, she was trying to help her son whilst also working for this place that was one by one member of staff going. And I was trying to hold my mind right whilst my mind wasn't right. And, you know, struggling with bad tempers, all these sort of things, because everything that was going on felt chaotic. It felt like, oh my fucking God, like, what's going on? How can I even balance and manage all this? But one of the biggest and most important things that I did was stopped and realigned and realized from that realignment what I needed to do and find internally. So I'm not a finished work of where I want to be in terms of that manifestation, but I think that you guys that sit in a thought and maybe you like go over the thoughts a lot in your head and there's a recurring thing or whatever it is, like, take some time to sit with accountability for where you want to be, where you think you need to be in whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a reseller journey or an internal state to get to that reseller journey. I think that just being aware of where you are in your mind is one of the most important things that you can do. It's one of the most important things I did, because I sit in stillness in myself a lot more than I used to. And that just means I'm less reactive to the standby. Something bad could happen. Like, something bad could happen in my life, and I'm prepared to respond to that in a calmer state and a less frantic, stressed way, if you know what I mean. So, like, I've made a life that I enjoy living, and as a result, the things that would happen around it that may change the responses, I'm prepared for. You know, you can't be prepared for everything, but mentally prepared for the realization of that happening. So a lot of where I'm at now from where I was before, this isn't the success that I built. This is what I'm talking about now, is the process for how I kind of like managed to not lose my whole shit after what most people might see as like a great feat of a brand, to then this readaptation, to then this rebirth in a new way. You know, who out of you that are watching this would walk away at the time when there was the option, after 10 years of a brand, all of this like debt accrued from bills you can't pay due to so many different versions of expectation, you know, natural things that run out of your hands with running a business and running a small brand business that, again, exponentially grew and then flew to the floor through the fact of how the industry changed. And I think I've gone over this a lot. Like, my time away from a lot of this as well was actually what is probably a key thing to know. A lot of that manifestation was understanding that everything that happened was going to happen, and I could only control how I reacted. So, like, some people in this industry will be the salty, resentful people to the people that are the vintage sellers, the small business operating people and things like that, because it changed their system. But for me, I just understood what that change meant for my system. And I think that, like, it's just all about the internal manifestation of a better state to be in. And I know a lot of you probably think, what on earth does that mean? But take some time when you can to sit with the thoughts and understand what the internal narrative that's being spoken in your like head. One thing I would say to do this is like, you watch a film, right? And you can kind of get an idea for where the director's trying to take that film. But in your mind, you just wake up and go, oh my God, can't stop thinking about that guy. I can't stop thinking about this girl. I can't stop thinking about this business decision. I'm not a guru of sorts, a love doctor or anything like that. Trust me, that's not me. But what I am is somebody that can articulate an analytical kind of way of looking at it, maybe, that might be useful for you. In the terms of like, treat your mind like the director. Where is the director in your mind trying to take the story? and do you want to intervene and change that story? So for me, I wanted to make sure that the person I was going to become was the person that I wanted to be, and sitting with that, understanding that, and moving forward based on that. So where we are right now is there's a lot of moving parts, and business is a constant moving part. You see this pile right now? If I tried to jump up there, right, and try and run to the top, every single bag is going to move in a completely unique way that I can't control, other than me controlling where I actually put my feet. But I'm going to try and get to the top, and stuff's going to move. But that's a bit like business. You're constantly in a battle to jump, and there's constantly loads of different things that will move as a result of those jumps. And again, manifesting where you would like to be in your future self, the future that is the present now, because it's only the present, and the past that's happened, but you can't go back. You're only here, okay? You're fixed here. Just be aware of that narrative that you tell yourself. Be aware of the manifestation, and like believe that is where you are. You know, I get loads of messages recently, and it's really nice. A lot of people saying it's inspiring. It's like people have got inspired to sell and all that, and that's absolutely like amazing. If I knew how to like respond, respond vocally in a sort of way that was more like emotional to that, like it's just nice, and it's just nice that I'm helping people and doing all that. But we're still here on this mission to make sure that you guys that are resellers are, whether it's resellers, whether it's just whatever it is, that you're good and you know where you want to be. So I'm not going to go into it too heavy. If you're at this point now, big up. Don't know what my thumbs are doing, but big up. We have a lot cooking in the background right now in terms of this course, an audio setting, and an ebook. But again, I'm not going to try and fulfill this dopamine hit by telling you these things that you already know. Just know that I'm working and I'm cooking on it. So if you're a reseller and if you're into this sort of thing, this might be something that you want to keep on the journey. So wherever you're watching this from, if I decide to upload this on TikTok, hey guys, if this just remains on YouTube, how you lot doing? Engage with any part of these likes, follows and stuff like that, and just keep this in your streamline, and I will make sure to streamline this education that I know in the form of knowledge out to you through what we're going to be doing. But yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's going on, and that's all that matters, guys. So as always, stay safe, stay sustainable, keep doing you, and I will see you on the next video, which will be when it is. All right, big love. I'll catch you in a bit.